What's good? Welcome back to a Dark Lake edit. Now, I had to make The Walking Dead Dead City Season 3 a part of a Dark Lake edit. And I had to edit and cut that in this show because I have always been a fan of The Walking Dead, right? Before there was Stranger Things, before there was The Vampire Lestat, before there was any other show, there was always The Walking Dead. And Rick motherfucking Grimes, you feel me? There was always Carl.
Carl! 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 Carl got shot. Carl's gonna be alright. Carl is here in this world. Carl! Carl! Looking at that deer, and that deer looking right back at Carl, and that moment just...
Carl! There was always that, and it's always gonna be that. And I knew since we're only 3 days away from the premiere of Dead City Season 3, I already knew that I had to cover this, especially when I saw this right here. You see this? This right here. You see this? When I saw this, I was like, hell no! Hell no! Hell no!
Hell no!
Oh, hell no!
What the hell am I looking at?
Nigga, what? All right, welcome back. So I wanted to get into this article from Undead Walking News because I'm just really excited about Dead City Season 3, and I want a little bit more information. I really sometimes I don't care where people feel about it as long as I'm enjoying the show and as long as I find it valuable, right? That's what this channel, A Dark Lake Edit, is all about. It's basically to project and share the things I love with the world out there in YouTube land. You feel me? So I'm going to get into the article right now from Undead Walking News. All right. So it says, it's officially the end of an era for the Walking Dead franchise. The Walking Dead has seen a lot of eras come and go. We have reached the end of another one for the Walking Dead franchise and the beginning of a new one. And with the Walking Dead, there's always an end of an era and the beginning of a new one, which is kind of cool. Sometimes I get scared because I'm like, well, is it going to be, good, But as long as there's always an end and a beginning, it's like a repetitive cycle, and it helps me know that it'll always be there, right? So it says it's safe to say that the Walking Dead franchise has been around for a long time. The AMC juggernaut has been on screen since the original series premiere back in 2010. And you know what? I was there day one, 2010. I used to work at the front desk in a hotel called the Ayers Inn and Suites in Ontario, California. And I remember going home after work and watching that first episode, 2010. I was there since day one. It says here, throughout that time, it has seen a number of eras come to an end. Andrew Lincoln's Rick Grimes left the original series. That original series came to an end. OG spinoff The Walking Dead concluded shortly afterwards, and Rick and Michonne's story got wrapped up too. Those are just some of the examples. Now I'm going to scroll down to where it talks about Maggie and Negan. Maggie and Negan will no longer be enemies in Dead City Season 3, which, I think they're gaslighting us a little bit. I think they're still going to be enemies. It's just not going to be to the latter end of the season. That's my prediction. It's almost time for The Walking Dead Dead City Season 3 to premiere on AMC and AMC Plus. And with that, we'll come to the end of a major era for the TWD franchise. The season, which premieres on both platforms on Sunday, July 26th, will see Maggie, Ray, and Negan officially start a new chapter of their lives as friends in a bid to help rebuild Manhattan for the next generation of survivors. It sounds absurd to say, but the spinoff is actually doing it, bringing the two long-standing enemies together in a way that it never has before. And it's all down to new showrunner Seth Hoffman, who is hoping that the show's new approach to the pair's long-standing relationship could usher in a new era of Dead City, and potentially even the TWD universe as a whole. Now that's interesting. That's why, I am mostly excited about Dead City Season 3. I do want to see that particular show end, but I'm mostly excited about what's to come for the future. Yeah, so you know what? Thank you, Undead Walking, for providing such a really cool, relevant article on Dead City Season 3. But right now, I'm about to get into my recap and review of Dead City Season 2. Let's go. All right, guys, listen. I know that a lot of y'all did not like Season 2 of Dead City, but I'll tell you this. What I really appreciated about Season 2 was how they expanded the scope of the story. Season 1 felt so intimate and personal to me. It was mostly about Maggie and Negan's complicated relationship, as we all know how that's going. Also, it was about who controls the future. And the future began with methane. Now, that sounds simple enough right now, but in the show, you realize that methane has become one of the most valuable resources left in the zombie apocalypse. And we all know that power means electricity, food, industry, control, all the things that are fleeting in this apocalypse. So Manhattan isn't just another city anymore. It's one of the most valuable territories anyone could possibly own. Who would have think is Manhattan in the apocalypse, right? That's why everyone wants it. We got the Dama, we got Bruegel, the Croat, and New Babylon, and there's a whole bunch of drama and mess and people in the mix because they're not just fighting over buildings somewhere they can just, have a safe place. No, they're fighting over what comes next after the apocalypse. And that idea, that ideology becomes sort of a focal point for the mental state of so many characters in this show. And then, guys, we have Negan's journey, right? I've always thought this watching the show. Like, Negan remains one of the more interesting characters of the entire Walking Dead series, not just because of the actors, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's charismatic ways. We're trying to figure out if he can truly escape what he used to be. It's a constant thing over and over. Negan isn't just chasing power and to be a king, right? He's trying to protect Annie and his son Joshua. But no matter how hard he tries, his reputation follows him everywhere. The Dama understands exactly who Negan is, maybe better than him. And she doesn't want the redeemed version. She wants that old Negan, the old school Negan, the man who could inspire fear just by walking into a room. You feel me? Eventually, Negan finds himself carrying Lucille again. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. And honestly, seeing him hold that bat immediately reminded me that this thing we call redemption isn't always just a straight line. Sometimes it pulls you back so you can move forward. That's what's so interesting about Negan to me, that he still has to basically, revert back to his old ways in order to do something good, which is wild to me. Like, this is such a great opportunity in that writer's room, you feel me? Because the thing is that old sin that took out Glenn, that rhymed. Let's go. That old sin that took out Glenn is actually gonna benefit the people who he cares about in the future and currently. Or at least that's the hope.
Don't give me hope.
Damn.
I believe. believe.
I believe.
I believe.
Listen, I don't really care if any of you guys fell off of The Walking Dead. I never did. I have seen every season of every episode of every spin-off show of The Walking Dead, except for World Beyond. But other than that show, I've seen every season of every episode, the spin-off shows, everything. And I used to always watch, YouTubers react to the episodes. So I'm just so happy that I get to have the opportunity to react and review every episode of Dead City Season 3. And I'm going to be on Maggie's ass about that whole this shit. You feel what I'm saying? I'm gonna be looking like, nah, hell nah, you better not. You feel me? And then, of course, we have Maggie's story, right? Then it's like, what's so interesting about it is that Maggie's mission never really changes. Everything she does is still about Hershel. But this season quietly reveals something heartbreaking to me. Hershel has started drifting away from her emotionally. We all saw that. He's grown up carrying the weight of Glenn's death and Maggie's grief, something he had to deal with. And, developing all types of trauma because of that. And eventually, that changed him. And I think season 2 finally lets us see that. For Hershel, Manhattan isn't simply a nightmare. It becomes part of his identity. That emotional divide between mother and son becomes one of the most important storylines heading into that finale. Seeing how essentially he's changing psychologically and how the Dama has manipulated him was so interesting to watch because, Maggie, his mother, has one vision of him. But as he's growing into his own, it's like he's starting to realize that he can possibly affect the future of the apocalypse in Manhattan. That's how he sees Manhattan, which is a stark difference and opposite of how Maggie sees Manhattan and the future. And, I think we should pay attention to Glenn's son because he represents the future of the apocalypse. That's what he represents. And I hope they don't do nothing stupid where they kill off Hershel. I will riot if that happens. Now, I really want to get into the Dama. And the Dama's greatest weapon, I don't actually think it's violence. I think it's manipulation. She understands people, or tries to. She knew exactly which emotional wounds to open for so many characters. She slowly reshaped Hershel's way of thinking, right? She convinced him there was another future. One where Manhattan wasn't something just to escape. It was something to build. That is so dangerous for a villain to have that ability. Because once someone starts believing in something, escaping what they believe isn't just physical anymore. It's psychological. And that's where the Dama has probably won. And in real life, there would probably be a lot of manipulative people like her because they're the ones who more than likely would survive a zombie apocalypse. That's what's so interesting to me about the show is because it's not just about the walkers, man. It's about the people who survive it and the choices they make during it. I theorize all the time. I've had so many random conversations about how to survive the apocalypse, how to get around walkers, where to go, what kind of people to surround yourself with, or if you should surround yourself with people at all. I know that a lot of you guys who are Walking Dead fans have had this conversation with people. But I want to go as far as to literally prepare for it, get the tools and weapons that I need, like for real. I'm not the only one. I'm pretty sure some of you watching have a garage with some shit in it. Now, the finale. I want to talk about it because everything that has been building throughout the season finale exploded in season 2. Every alliance began to fall apart. We saw every hidden agenda comes into light, Negan uses Bruegel's own strategy against him by unleashing walkers hidden beneath the church. It was in the banquet, I believe, turning what was supposed to be a celebration of power into absolute chaos, the only way Negan can absolutely do it, with chaos. Then comes the most shocking moment. Negan killed Bruegel. And the way it's done deliberately mirrors one of the darkest moments in The Walking Dead history. It isn't just another death. It's the show forcing both Negan and us to confront his shadow, the shadow of who we used to be. And we actually honestly kind of want to see that. And at the same time, Maggie is captured by the Dama. Instead of simply trying to kill her, the Dama attacks something much deeper. She actually challenges Maggie's identity. She argues that Maggie's hatred of Negan has trapped her for years in the same cycle. And whether you agree with the Dama or not, there's an uncomfortable amount of truth in what she's saying there. Because revenge has been driving Maggie for so long that it's become difficult to imagine who she'd be without it. That was a big part of season 2, psychologically, in my opinion. Then we get the emotional gut punch. Hershel doesn't simply reunite with Maggie like we thought he would, and then everything goes back to normal, right? Instead, he chooses the Dama's vision over his mother's. That moment changed everything for me. For Maggie, the battle is no longer about Negan. It's about saving her son. And then there was Guinea. She attempts to kill Negan, but she collapsed because I think it was she was infected by a wound she had been carrying, leaving her fate uncertain as the season ended. Every one of these moments shifts the board for season 3. That's why I think it's worth it to watch. I really love the psychological aspects that writers pursue in TV shows, because what the finale really was about to me, when I stepped back after watching the season, I realized that Dead City Season 2 isn't really about the walkers. It isn't really even about Manhattan. It's about belief in ideology. Every major character spends this season choosing what kind of future they believe deserves to exist. Really. Maggie chooses hope over her revenge. The Dama chose manipulation. New Babylon chooses order through force. And Hershel chose a future his mother never imagined for him. That's what makes this finale work for me. The walkers are still there. The action is still there. But the real battle has become more ideological. It's about what kind of civilization rises after everything fell apart. And we're finally getting back into that. It's very reminiscent of the old Alexandria days. You feel me? I want to get into a prediction, right? So here's the thing, right? I don't think Negan is going to survive this season. That's my prediction. Some of you may think that I am crazy for thinking this, but just seeing that smile that Maggie gives to Negan, I feel like they're just trying to trick us. They're doing that Marvel, trailer thing where they show you one aspect of the movie, but that's not in it, or they digitally take someone out, a major character out of a scene, so you could be surprised when you go watch it in theaters because everything gets leaked, right? I think in the same way, that's what The Walking Dead Dead City is doing, right? They're showing us that smile to make us think that, oh, she's in love with him now. She wants to have Negan's babies, right? But I think at the very, very last minute, and please, Skybound, especially y'all and all of the fans, right? If you come across this video in a Dark Lake edit, please give me my props if I'm right about this prediction, right? That Negan won't survive season 3. And I think he won't survive because right when we believe that Maggie has forgiven Negan for deleting Glenn, we're going to start thinking, oh, she's in love with him and da-da-da. She actually might show some affection toward Negan toward the latter end of this season. However, I think at the very moment, at the last second, when we think her revenge is all over, she's going to get memories flooding back into her mind of Glenn's eyeball being popped out. And she's just going to say, nah, F this. And then she's going to take him out.
Well, pardon me, young man, excuse the shit out of my goddamn French, but did you just threaten me?
That's what I think is going to happen. I think Maggie will delete Negan at the end of season 3 of Dead City. That's my prediction. Please, if you like this review and you like a Dark Lake edit, I need you to put in the comments below what your predictions for season 3 of Dead City are. Also, too, I have a question for you, anyone watching. Have you fell off of The Walking Dead? Are you over it? Or are you still willing to give it a shot like I am? Because I will always give The Walking Dead a shot. I'm emotionally invested in many of the characters, right? And I do want to see how this Maggie and Negan thing plays out. Even though this right here pissed us all off. All right, so that was my complete recap of The Walking Dead Dead City Season 2 and everything you need to know before Season 3 premieres in just 3 days, because I'm going to be there covering every episode. Now, I want to hear from all of you. What was your favorite moment from Season 2 or the entire Walking Dead universe? Do you think Hershel is beyond saving? Do we trust Negan? Or do you think history is just destined to repeat itself with Negan? Let's talk about it in the comments. Come on, I want to hear y'all opinions. Please like, share, and subscribe to a Dark Lake edit if you enjoyed this review. I can't wait to see all of you guys throughout this season. I hear it's going to be such a great season, and there are actually resources that say this is the best spin-off season of The Walking Dead in the Walking Dead universe ever. Now, the stakes are high for me. I don't know if I believe that. However, I am giving it a shot. I haven't given up on The Walking Dead, and I hope you haven't either. Thank you so much for being here with me tonight and being a part of the show. And hopefully I've reached a lot of you Walking Dead fans, because I'm one right now. And a lot of you YouTubers out there who cover the show, I've watched your videos and I used to always look forward to compilations of your reactions. And I'm just excited that one of you might possibly see this video and my future videos. Thank you so much for being here. I wholeheartedly appreciate it. Here we cover a whole lot of horror, a whole lot of dark content. But always remember, where there is darkness, there are stars. This is Lake Sevens, the author, and you are in a Dark Lake edit. Let's go.